Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I am doing a book review on The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I finally got into the Freida McFadden chokehold and I am so excited that I did. I've been having this book on my TBR since last year and I never got to it. And I think what made me so slow on getting to The Housemaid is because I know she has a part 3 of the series dropping this summer. And I kind of wanted to read the book closer to when the third one dropped. That way I can kind of read them all together. But this was my book club's book pick for the month of March and I ate this book up. I ate it up. Like, I started on a Friday and I promise you, because I'm a working mom, so I don't sit around and read all day, every day. But I promise you, by the weekend, I was already 3/4 of this book done. Like, literally, I ate this book up. She did her thing with this one. She did her big one with this one. So just like I do with all of my videos, I like to go ahead and read the summary for you guys if I had not found out a way to summarize it myself. This time I did not, because I got so much to say about the book, so I do want to go ahead and read the summary for you guys. So what I like to do is I read the summary, I tell you what I like and what I dislike, I give you a rating. That's the first half of the video. The second half of the video, I'm talking to you guys and I'm throwing out spoilers. I do give you guys a spoiler alert mid-video, because if you haven't read the book, I definitely want you to go grab the book, read the book, then come back and watch the second half of the video so that we can deep dive in the comments and just chat about the book. The summary of the book says, every day I clean the Winchester's beautiful house top to bottom. I pick up their daughter from school. I cook a delicious meal for the whole family before heading up to eat alone in my tiny room on the top floor. I try to ignore how Nina makes a mess just to watch me clean it up, how she tells strange lies about her own daughter, and how her husband, Andrew, seems more broken every day. But as I look into Andrew's handsome brown eyes, so full of pain, it's hard not to imagine what it would be like to live Nina's life. The walk-in closet, the fancy car, the perfect husband. I tried on one of Nina's white dresses once just to see what it's like, but she soon finds out. And by that time I realized my attic bedroom door only locks from the outside. It's far too late. If you are a thriller girly and you have not gotten into Miss Freida, start with this one right here. I think everyone suggests that she starts with this one. If you have any of her other books, you would see a little circle recommending this book on there. Let me grab one. So like you see, I have The Teacher and they recommend The Housemaid on there. Like, because that's one of her best books that they say. I have not read this one yet. So I'm gonna get to that one later on this year, but this one is one of her best books that everybody is raving about. So I really liked it. Let me grab my iPad. I didn't write notes this time because I put everything in my notes in my note app on my phone. So I'm just gonna read it from my iPad. So what I liked about the book was Freida McFadden has a way of willing you in with short chapters. She writes short chapters, like it's over 50 chapters in this book, and each chapter talks about something a little bit different. Each chapter is left with a cliffhanger to make you continue to read. When I am looking for book recommendations and everybody's talking about Freida, everybody is saying her books are page turners. Like, you will not want to put it down. And it's so true, because after each chapter, you're like, I want to continue to go. I want to know what's next. I want to know what's coming next. And then by the time you look up, hours have flew by and you're almost done with the book. She really does have a way of willing you in with each and every chapter. none of the chapters are slow burns. They're all centered around their own particular thing. So each one has their own subject. And so because you can kind of tell that each chapter is talking about something slightly different, you just continue to read and read and read and read because it's so good and it's so addicting. It's literally a page turner. And I was thinking, you know, that's her trick, because even though this is my first book I've read by Freida McFadden, there's a lot of other like booktubers and people on Bookstagram that I follow that has read other books by her as their first book. And the same exact thing I'm saying about the chapters and how she leaves little cliffhangers, I'm assuming she does that with all of her writing, because my review for this book, my general review without giving any spoilers, is the same exact review everybody else has been given about different books, like The Inmate, just The Teacher. She has another one called The Coworker. She has so many books, and all of the general reviews about her book is the same, like short chapters, will you in, page turners, cliffhangers. Like, that's how she gets you guys. That's how she get us. That's how she got me, because now I'm officially in a chokehold. Like, now every time I see one of her books, I'm gonna want to buy it because this one was just so darn good. What I disliked about the book was, at first, okay, when I first finished the book, I was like, bravo, she did the dang thing. And she really did. Like, I'm not taking that away from her. One thing I disliked, and it did take me time to kind of figure this out, because of course you want to read the book, you want to sit down and let it simmer and just let it sit on your mind. I wish she would have given us more information about the husband. Like, she gave us a lot of background about everybody else in the book, but she did not give us that much information about the husband. And because he was a main character in the book, I felt like knowing his background was very, 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 very important. So that's the only thing I disliked about the book. And at first, when I rated the book a 5, but because I sat and I thought about it, I was like, she give us no background information about the husband. I want to know why. Why is he like this as an adult? You know, I think everybody, and this is in general, but everybody has a background that kind of explains why they are the way they are today. And she did that with all of the other characters but the husband. And I thought that was just a little piece of information I wish we would have gotten in the story, because it would have been very, very important for us to know. So my overall rating for the book is a 4.5. I highly recommend this book. Like, if you are a romance girly and you want to try something different, tap into Miss Freida. Tap into Freida McFadden. I can pretty much read some of everything. I'm not gonna say I read just one particular genre, although I know there are people out there that do. But for me, because I like to read maybe 2-3 books a month, I like to read from different genres. So a thriller is always good for me to read when I am also reading a romance novel. And I feel like if you want to try something new, a thriller would be a good route to take, because it's most of the time it's talking about people with mental illness. Now, if you have triggered, you know, if some things about mental illness or whatever will trigger you, then I don't recommend. But if those type of things don't trigger you, most of the time these stories are like that. So they're not like horrors or mysteries or scary or anything like that. So I feel like if you are a romance girly and you're looking to try something new, I highly, highly, highly suggest trying thrillers, and I highly, highly suggest trying Freida McFadden. All right, so now that I gave you guys my general summary of the book, how I felt about the book, and the rating about the book, this is the part of the video where I'm telling you guys to pause. If you hadn't read the book, go read the book. Come back and join us for the discussion in the next half of the video. It does contain spoilers. I'm getting ready to tell you guys how I felt when I was reading the book. So it's gonna have plenty of spoilers. If you don't mind spoilers, then continue. But I highly recommend that you read the book first, then come back and join me in the comments so that we can chat. Let's get into this book. So first things first, let me talk about how many times I changed my mind about which character was doing the nitty-gritty. Like, at first I'm like, okay, maybe it's Millie, because Millie is coming into these people's houses as their maid, and she's doing all of this stuff wrong, and ain't no way these people are paying her, and she ain't, you know, they're paying her and messing up. Like, ain't no way that they are paying this woman and they're the ones messing up. Like, I was like, okay, maybe it's Millie, especially because she was living in her car, she was homeless, she was just getting out of prison. I'm like, okay, maybe something wrong with her. But then I kept reading, and then when we got to the parts where, like, the peanut butter scene, right, where peanut butter was sitting in the pantry, Millie made peanut butter for the baby girl to eat for a snack. Nina like, why are you giving her peanut butter? The little girl like, she's giving me peanut butter and I'm allergic to peanut butter. And she's like, why are you giving her peanut butter? I told you she was allergic to peanut butter. And though it never said it in the story, that like her literally telling her that she was allergic to peanut butter, in my head I'm like, just like Millie, if your child is allergic to peanut butter, why do y'all got a big old jar of peanut butter sitting in the pantry? So then right there I'm like, okay, Nina is insane in the membrane. Like, something is wrong with her. So then for a long time after, you know, while reading the whole book, I'm like, okay, something is wrong with Nina, because she was just doing some off the wall stuff. The peanut butter scene, the pulling the stuff out of the kitchen, making a mess in the kitchen, intentionally lying about Millie stealing her notes for the PTA meeting. I'm just like, okay, something is wrong with her and Millie needs to get out of here. But then we get to part 2 of the book, and it's when Nina is telling her story of how she got to where she is and what was going on between her and Andrew. Then I was like, oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me. And then I was like, okay, all right. Okay, Nina coming through with the truth, and she's letting us know the whole get down, which was so crazy to me, because the way everything just played out, like how she met him on her job, how he took her in, how he was taking care of her and her daughter, and that part seemed kind of suspicious, because personally, I'm like, how often do you see a man literally just pick up a woman randomly and want to lavish her down and take care of her daughter and be the daughter's father? And like, I mean, it happens, but you don't see that often. And so her telling her story and how all this stuff was just playing out, I was like, oh my goodness, especially about the peanut butter, because he was, when she started explaining that he started to flip the script on her and how he locked her in the attic and how he set that peanut butter in that pantry, like, I'm like, Andrew is cuckoo. What? I was like, okay, Andrew is crazy. So then when we go back to like the beginning of the book, I wanted Millie to get out of there. I was like, girl, go sleep in your car. You don't need to stay in these people's houses. They got you living in this little bitty attic and it locks on the outside. That reminds me of, when I was thinking about that, it reminded me of Verity. It reminded me of Verity, that door locking on the outside. I was like, I've heard this before. It was Verity, but ain't no way. Once I got in that house and you showed me all the way upstairs to that little bitty tiny attic with that little bitty window, and I realized that the door didn't lock on the inside but locked on the outside, baby, I'm gonna go back outside and sleep in my car. I was already sleeping in my car. Don't worry about it, ma'am. I come to your house every single day. I be here at the crack of dawn. Cause ain't no way y'all finna have me locked up in this room, in this little bitty attic with this little bitty window. Heck no. But I knew Millie had just got out of prison. She needed a job because she just got fired from her previous job. She needed the money. So she was basically doing what she had to do to get by. But I was like, nah, ain't no crazy stuff. That's crazy. I'm not living in no little attic like that with a lock on the outside door. Absolutely not. But my girl Millie is that girl. Millie is that girl, and she comes highly recommended. Please put some respect on my girl Millie's name, period. Okay. And so, you know, throughout the story, I knew Nina was going to set Andrew up with Millie, with the whole Broadway, with the whole hotel scene and stuff. I knew that was a setup. Like, I knew that was a setup in some kind of way. I didn't really know how, but I knew, because I'm like, this is just too good to be true. The girl, she already gave you some of her old dresses. Then she mentions that she wants to go to the Broadway. Then she flips out and say that you booked it for the wrong weekend. In my head, I'm like, watch she end up going to this Broadway. Watch, because Nina is gone. Andrew gonna be like, I knew he wasn't gonna be able to get no refund. He gonna be like, you wanna go? I already knew that was gonna happen. When they went to the hotel, I was like, yeah, this is a setup. I couldn't figure out how, why, or whatever, but I knew that was not a good idea. I was like, girl, please, you definitely should have did something else. Like, we wouldn't have been going to no hotel. Yeah, I go with you to this Broadway, but I ain't going to this hotel, because when you think about it, I'm trying to secure my job. I need this income, and I don't need your wife coming home from work and figuring out that we went to a hotel and all of this and all of that. Absolutely not. So I knew that was a setup. Y'all, that little girl wearing them dresses, before we found out why she was wearing them dresses, I was like, I know she's not going to this camp wearing these fluffy dresses. Like, I cannot stand to see little kids wearing these fluffy dresses that are not fit for the occasion. Like, why are you sending your little child to school in these Easter dresses? So in my head, I literally just see her skipping around, playing in big old fluffy dresses. And I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, maybe she just liked to wear them. I didn't think it was tied to the story, but it was just real awkward to me. And so Enzo, is that how you pronounce his name? I think that's how you pronounce his name. The yard man, I had a feeling he knew what was going on. Even though we didn't know what was going on, I had a feeling he knew what was going on, because I forget the word that he told her, but it was basically danger in his language or whatever, because I instantly Googled it, even though it told you exactly what it meant right after, because she looked it up too, but I instantly Googled it as soon as I seen the word. I'm like, what does this even mean? And it meant danger. And the way it was lingering around the house, and when she was up in the attic and she looked out the window and he's looking up at her, I had a feeling he knew what was going on, but he couldn't figure out a way to get Millie out of there, but he was trying the best way that he could. He was one of my favorite characters in the book, and after us finding out that his sister had went through all of that domestic violence and all of that stuff with the guy, and you know, he had to do what he had to do for his sister, and that's why he was even in the country to begin with, he was like, nah, we finna get y'all up out of this situation. Like, no. And then when Nina was trying to set it up for Millie to be the person to get got, Enzo was like, nah, we finna go get her. Like, we can't leave her. We need to go get her, because even though you flipped it so that it wouldn't happen to you anymore and you got yourself out of that situation, I don't want to see another woman in that situation. Like, that's not good for nobody, no matter who it is. And I know that you set it up in a way to get yourself out of it, but we need to go get her too, because this ain't good. And so I loved that part, because he was like, nah, we got to circle the block, we got to go get her because she's in danger, and she's been in danger since she walked up in this house, and you knew that when you hired her. So even though you trying to get you and your daughter out safe, I understand it, but I feel like it's our due diligence to go back and get Millie up out of that house, because absolutely not. And Millie, she did Andrew dirty. Baby, when she had Andrew pulling them teeth out, I'm sitting there like, I know that had to hurt. I could not pull my teeth out. That's insane. I could not pull my teeth out. Like, I know that hurt so bad. And then when she had him putting them books on his area, baby, he got bruised all up and everything. I was like, wow. And she was flipping that script on him, and the same stuff he was saying to her, she was saying to him, and he was getting so frustrated. And I'm like, boy, ain't no way you sitting up here getting frustrated the way you are, knowing you do women like that. Because not only did you do Millie and Nina like that, you did your ex like that too. Like, come on now, be for real. That's how you know he was jacked up in the head. So after everything, after Millie do what she needed to do and unalived Andrew, the whole funeral scene and all of that stuff, it was like, he got what he deserved. I felt like he definitely got what he deserved, because you don't do people like that. But his mama knew what was going on this entire time. And personally, I'm like, for the life of me, I can never understand how mothers know that their sons are doing dirt to other women, and they never put their sons in their places. Like, they just allow them to do it. And I get it. Your son is grown and you need to mind your own business, but you are still his mom, and you still need to be like, let's go on and nip this in the bud. You was actually keeping this child. And I feel like she was keeping the daughter because she knew her son was messed up in the head, and it was best for her to keep Nina's daughter instead of him getting a hold of her and probably doing some crazy things to her. So I feel like that's why she was so willing to do things for Nina's daughter and take Nina's daughter and stuff, because she knew what her son was about. But I feel like there's some way you can stop that. Like, I just feel like there is a way that you can stop that. I don't know how. I guess I'll find out later, because I'm a boy mom too. So, and I will hope, my son wouldn't do anything like this. But for me personally, I'm a what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong type of person. No matter who you are, if you wrong, you wrong. Like, that's it. But she knew her son was cray. And I forgot exactly what she said at the end. Because I think that was one of my favorite quotes. Let me see if I have it. Oh, yes. It is. My favorite quote in the book is, "There is always a punishment when you break the rules." And this was by Evelyn Winchester, Andrew's mama. And that's what he kept on telling these women. So I'm like, girl. She had, at the end, I was like, oh my goodness. No, she didn't. Like, no, she didn't. Shout out to the police officer. Because if it wasn't for him, Millie would have been locked up for life. Shout out to him. And I just felt like that was his way of getting justice for both him and his daughter, considering his daughter was Andrew's ex. And he was working diligently and for a while trying to figure out what was going on, and he finally figured out what was going on, and baby, he covered all that up. He was like, she didn't kill him. She did not kill him. So shout out to Mr. Officer, because he did his big one for sure. And there is nothing in this world that will give you legit closure for treating your children wrong or your family members wrong. But I know that gave him a little bit of closure. for what Andrew did to his daughter. So I'm like, yeah, shout out to him, because Millie would have for sure been back behind them bars. For sure. And I'm talking about for life. Considering what she did to old dude at her old job. Yeah. For life. Okay? And her track record was already... That's why she comes highly recommended. All in all, I really did love the book. I am so ready for The Housemaid's Secret. I am reading that book in the month of April with my book club. We are doing book discussions for these books. So if by the time you see this video, we probably have already done our virtual book discussion. But if you read The Housemaid's Secret and you want to get in on my virtual book discussion, follow my Instagram page. I'm gonna put it here. It's also my Bookstagram page. And I post updates about virtual group discussions because I do have a book club that I'm trying to build currently. So if you would like to join my virtual book club, just follow my Bookstagram page and look for the updates. I post in my stories almost every day, and I post the updates about book discussions because we are definitely discussing this book, and I'm just trying to get more people to join because I know so many people have read this book. And like in the Facebook groups that I'm in, we can't really talk about the book on a general post because we don't want to do spoilers. And then some people don't want to get off into those side chats that are part of the Facebook group. So if you guys want to join a virtual group discussion, just let me know. Follow the Instagram and look forward to the updates for the next book because we are definitely reading The Housemaid's Secret in April. I really wish I would have pushed the books back like a month or two just so that we can read all of them back to back. But it's some other stuff I got on my TBR that I need to read and that I really, really want to read. So we're going to go ahead and do The Housemaid's Secret in April, read something else in May, probably read something else in June. I don't know. If everybody can secure the book as soon as it drops in June, we may be able to read it in June and then discuss it at the end of June. So we'll see. But anywho, if you come this far in the video, give it a big thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what your favorite Freida McFadden book is in the comments because I know you read one. I know you have. And if you have not read one, I highly suggest you starting off with this one. If you don't, that's fine. But this one is really, really good. And because it's like her most, her best-selling author book, it's literally, they put it on all her books. So I just feel like if you're going to start a Freida McFadden book, start this one. So like I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, peace out.